The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
City Straight Talk.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Monday in the Riv after the parade, the big expensive parade.
That did nothing for the city of Fall River.
That did nothing for the city of Fall River and cost us more money in 1 year than we spent in the previous 70 million years they've had that parade. So,
forewarning, this show may seem negative to you in regards to the holiday parade. It may.
You said that in a flush, too. Wait a minute. You said that in a flush. I read the flush.
Hey,
it's not negative. It's a fact. You know, I mean, we never paid for that parade before.
$75,000 out of city tax dollars was given to recreation to put this parade on. Never in the history of this parade has city tax dollars ever been used. But then again, for Paul, what does he care? It's your money. He doesn't care about spending it.
That's right. It's a brave new world. We can use everything. Taxpayer money, opera money, anything we want to finance the. And somebody actually sent me a picture taken. I don't know if you got it, but it was pretty telling. I'll actually. I don't know if did you get this picture?
Yes, I did.
Of course, he didn't identify him. There was a caption saying, "These are the people that I can't say the expletive. This city, but it starts with an F, ends with a K, and it is the mayor, Auchincloss, the guy who now loves Fall River. Has he rented an apartment at Corky Row yet?
Hey, maybe he's going to be in a triple-decker.
I don't know. Maybe he's gonna live in a three-decker for a while and rub elbows with the great unwashed, because being a Harvard-educated Newton.
He knows the value of Fall River.
And Carol Fiola and Paul Schmid, who by some allegations is a millionaire himself. So I sent back a caption that said rich, richer, super rich, and unbelievably rich. And absolutely no connection with the regular people of Fall River.
That's right.
So I thought that was that's one of the reactions we got on the parade.
You know
from our viewers.
How they have a first, second, and third place for the floats or whatever?
Yeah.
Allegedly, I'm saying this allegedly because I have no confirmation on this at all, and I've been trying to find it. Allegedly, Carol Fiola's best friend got first place. Now, maybe they had a wonderful float. I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see who won first.
Who was the judge? Carol?
Oh. I believe Linda Pereira was
Carol,
one of the judges.
Auchincloss.
Yeah.
The
Coogan,
people in that picture, Smid and Linda.
Coogan, Auchincloss, and Schmidt. That's it. But you know, I was talking with our producer, Steve, and he was a cameraman at the parade. And he said that they were moving them by so fast, he was doing one of these with the camera. You know, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I have a real serious problem with a parade that, number one, for 35 years always had Macy's balloons. Always. The big balloons. This year we had 2 or 3 on a pull thing.
Actually, I saw flatbed. I saw that go by. Actually, I was on going down Bedford Street, and it was actually coming down Robeson to the lights, and I saw the float on the flatbed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But listen, look, I mean, they're going to say, they're going to talk about negativity. It's not negative. Look, parades are nice for people who like parades. I personally don't like parades. Never did like parades. And it's fine. It's holiday season. It's nice to have a parade. But you know, in the face of a tremendous deficit, in the face of inflation, in the face of all the problems we're looking at in the city of Fall River, the fact that we're looking at a really, you know, actually not even a clearly defined deficit, because we don't know. All we hear about is we can pay it from this, or we might steal money from here and slide it over to here. Nobody has come forward and said, listen, we've done an accounting. This is what the city's in the hole. This is what the deficit is. In reality, we have no idea. What we do know is that we would have a debt override if they didn't screw the paperwork up. We're going to get another debt override for Diamond in a not-too-distant future.
If we approve it.
And we have runaway inflation, unless you listen to Brandon, and they said, look at the tremendous decrease in gas, and it went this long graph, about this long with the y-axis, and that y-axis was less than 2 cents. 2 cents decrease, and that's because he pumped a little bit in now because he doesn't want all the publicity. Negative publicity, they would brand it, but no, it's accurate. You know, gas prices actually are up. Inflation is really here. It's not going to go away. They're saying 23, 24. It's going to be around for a long time. The city is in a woeful financial condition. And all of a sudden, for the first year in history, we have a parade that's been put on for 35 years at zero cost. But you know, there you go. Give it to government, and what are they going to do with it? Spend money and screw it up.
Yep. And
so
that's
exactly what they did. Where's that $75,000? Did it really go there? Did it look like a parade that cost zero? Now costs 75. Where did that 75 really go? We'll never know.
No.
We'll never know.
No, and
we're staring in this abyss.
You know, they went to recreation. I'm having I never had a problem with recreation before when it was CD rec. Remember when it was CD rec?
Oh, yeah, back in the good old days.
CD rec.
The good old days,
right,
yeah.
and it was run properly. Why? Because they got community development money and they were answerable.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still get community development money, but I'm going to tell you now, coming January and February, when they put in for money, I'm going to oppose it. Yeah. And I'm going to say why I oppose it. Because that parade was a shame. It was a shame. I would not even want to say that parade was in Fall River if it was broadcast anywhere. It was a piss poor attempt at doing nothing. And that's the problem.
And very expensive.
Yeah, and very expensive piss poor attempt.
Exactly, a very expensive. Something that we never, in the face of this, we couldn't get this to go on for zero. We couldn't look at the previous 35 years and say, how did we manage to put this parade on? And in most cases, a better parade. But like I said, I'm not going to say it was a good parade or a bad parade because I didn't watch it. I don't go to parades. I don't like parades. I used to have to parade every weekend at Fort Bragg for dignitaries from other countries because the Special Warfare Center made us parade every weekend. So I wasn't I'm not real crazy over parades. But the reality is that $75,000. Where's the questions now? But look, it doesn't matter now. It looks like there's going to be a council. It's going to be pro-administration, and I can say, listen, they're robbing you blind right now. After January, it's going to be total annihilation of any money that you have with this administration. It looks like because they frankly don't care about the fact that, like I said, I look at that picture, and I would really like to see their tax returns on everybody's tax returns. See how much they make as their income, family income. Look, we know that Auchinclaw's parents, one was a surgeon, the other one was some other professor, and grew up in Newton, went to Harvard. Lives in one of the richest the richest town in the state of Massachusetts. So we know he's got money, and I don't begrudge him that. Fine, you've got money. And so does Schmid. Schmid is alleged to be a millionaire. How, I don't know.
He's got a beef farm.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of money. I
And
know.
he's got a dairy farm.
And he likes to drive around in a truck like Scott Brown used to do, pretend they're poor.
Yep.
And, of course, we know that Carol Fiola is not only a state rep, she's got a real estate business, she's got a ton of, and we all know about, well, Kenny, we can't keep track of how many jobs he's got now.
Right.
But we know he's making almost 200 G's just on one job, and he's got 5 or 6 more jobs.
Exactly.
And Paul, well, Paul's the poor, he's the poor boy in that picture. He's getting a pretty good pension, and now he's getting another 120 G's. So for Fall River, he's pretty well to do.
Yeah.
So you got these people, and like I said, I don't have a problem with it. You know, he's entitled to his pension, he's entitled to his salary. These people got money, and that's fine. But my problem is you'll never be able to convince me that these people have any ability to realize the problems that people who are scratching for a living have. I don't care. It's like Nancy Pelosi looking down from her eating a $15 pint of ice cream after her $30,000 a plate fundraiser with all the other millionaires, or Gavin Newsom in the French Laundry having the most expensive dinner in recorded history for all his friends from the pharmaceutical companies and other big businesses, really caring about the great unwashed, the people in Fall River who actually go to work with a lunch pail and are now having problems gassing up their cars because they're getting killed everywhere you turn. Groceries, gasoline, heat. They're going to get murdered this winter. They're going to get murdered during this inflation. And now we're going to impose all kinds of taxes and fee increases on these people with a total disregard to the impact on them. And that's disturbing. And they can pretend. They all pretend. Oh, I feel your pain, like Bubba. You know, Clinton. I feel your pain. Bullshit. You don't feel anybody's pain. You don't feel anything with your millions and millions of dollars. You know, he can march in a Fall River parade, but he sure as hell goes back to Newton at the end of the day.
That's for sure.
And that's the key. And if you think you can identify with somebody that's living on $35,000, which is the average household income according to the United States Census Bureau. I won't give it to you the exact penny. I can look it up, but who cares? It's less than half of the state average.
Yes, it is.
So when we have a city that the majority of people in, and remember that 35,000 household income is an average. It's an average. I looked up a stat a few years ago, and I won't say it's accurate now, but it was horrifying how many people we had in this city living on below $14,000 a year. $14,000 a year.
Yeah.
So, but you don't care. More market rate housing, drive up the rents. The rents in Fall River going up all the time, and these people are suffering. So the only time you ever feel pain is at election time. And you love photo ops. Those parades are photo ops.
This is the problem. This is the core issue in Fall River. The core issue is you, the voter. You're the core issue. You vote back in these idiots that have no intention of representing you because they're a nice guy. They fixed a pothole in front of my house. They got my trash picked up. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. You call, you have a problem, they're supposed to look into it. That is not something that guarantees a vote because they fixed a pothole in front of your house. You got to look at everything they do. Like, are they keeping your taxes low? Are they doing responsible spending? Are they keeping things accordingly? I even spoke with a city councilor this weekend who's coming back next year, and I said, can I ask you a really stupid question? And they said, sure. I said, how come the city uses the most expensive office supply company? And their answer was, I have no idea. I said, don't you think if we sent that out to bid, we could get better prices for paper clips, pens? I mean, we use a lot of paper. We use a lot of toner, a lot of ink. Can't we get a better deal on it than paying top dollar? We're paying retail. We're paying retail. That's ridiculous. We should be getting a deal. Some of this at cost. But we're not. Why? Because it's taxpayer dollars, and they don't care. They don't care how much money we spent of yours. That's the problem that we have. And now we're looking at a new city council, not a totally new city council, 2 new city councils coming on board. Historically, Joe has a problem with always being on the side of the administration. Now, maybe that was the last administration because his brother had gotten a job or something, but historically, he has always sided on the administrative side of government. Therefore, that means higher taxes, higher fees, and you're going to pay it through the nose. And you remember, you voted him in. You voted him in. Now, Mr. Raposo, I think, was supposed to be a guy that was going to be turning out to be for the taxpayer. I've got a request in for his information because I want to talk to him. Because it has been reported that he's been seen with Linda Pereira in various places for breakfast. I mean, he's walked in the parade as a city councilor-elect, which no city councilor has done in the past, as far as I know. And even members of the city council are concerned that this is going to be another Coogan vote, which means that would put 5 Coogan votes on the council, meaning tax, 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 spend, 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 tax, tax, tax. And if that's what you voted in, shame on you. I don't want to hear you complain that my tax bill went up and I can't afford to live here anymore. You voted him in. Too bad. Suck it up. Suck it up, Buttercup, because you did it. You didn't look into what we told you about. And we tell you all the time, do your own research. You don't vote for politicians because of the nicey feelings they give you. You vote for a politician for what he plans to do or has done. And then when they don't do it, you get rid of them. It's not a permanent job, although people like Linda and Leo want to make it permanent jobs. They've been there for so long, they've forgotten what it's like. And now Linda's family's creating another dynasty in Fall River. The Pereira dynasty, one on the city council, one in the school committee. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a good thing. But is the only reason Shelley got elected was because of her name? And because of her alignment with Paul Coogan and her alignment with her mother? Was anyone really looking at what she could do? Why was Mimi Larrabee, of all people, reelected?
Don't get me going on that one.
Okay? I mean, she kept a sexual predator in the job in the school department. She works with children. And that's the example she's setting for them. And you voted for her. But you're complaining. But you're complaining. And guess what? I don't care because you voted for it. And many people won't like me for saying that, but guess what? I don't care. And that's the way it is.
Wow, that was a good rant. I like that one. Well, the day of reckoning will come because as people found out with Flanagan, when you attack their pocketbook and it really begins to hit home, they do come out. That's why we won the recall. People got fed up with it, but it takes a long time to get to build a fire. But it's coming. The day of reckoning is coming because this administration is already on the path of taking care of the bankers and all the friends, and we can see it. So the day of reckoning is going to come, but they're going to lie their way through with everything. It's going to be, I'm the crime, I'm the crime, I'm the crime. Look what they're doing on a national level. They've got a variant that virtually the doctor who identified it in South Africa said it's extremely mild. Highly contagious, but extremely mild.
And the cases in the United States have shown that they've been extremely mild.
And yet there's a worldwide hysteria because the propagandists that want to control the masses are using it again. And this is what government does. They create these artificial crises. That's how they gain power and let you give up your rights or say, we have to pay this bill. Like Fall River City Council, well, if we don't do this, the state's going to come down. Let them come down. Let them take over the water department. They might do a better job. Oh, if we don't, we're going to get sued. Well, you shouldn't have done it the wrong way in the first place.
That's right.
Maybe the person who precipitated the lawsuit should be fired. You know, this is the whole problem with government. They just ignore reality, and then now they're buttressed by the media. The mainstream media are no longer reporting news. What they're doing is they're creating propaganda. It's Radio Pravda. I mean, just look at what's happening now. A 2-cent reduction in gas. They're trying to spin that. The border's out of control. Everything's in the toilet. But what are they focusing on? Nobody's focusing on anything that really matters because they don't want to. And they spin it. And people now have always depended on these media outlets for information. But now nobody trusts the media anymore. So you have to do your own homework. And you know, the uprising has begun in the United States. We've seen it in Virginia. We've seen it in New Jersey. We've seen it, and I know the governor won by a hairbreadth, but I'll remind you that that governor was ahead by over 20 points 3 weeks before the election, and he won by, what, less than 1%, less than 0.5%, I think. But they did overturn many, many seats, even in the state legislature. They had a truck driver who spent $153 on his campaign bounced the president of the New Jersey Senate out of office. So everything comes late to Fall River. But like 95, I'll remind, and I know that we don't have to remind Linda because she was one of the 5 councilors that got bounced in 95. They bounced 5 councilors out in 95. So I predict if this city council doesn't protect the taxpayer in the next election, you will see a bloodbath, just like they're predicting for the Democratic Party, because they just ignore reality. I mean, AOC just said that they're not really looting stores. She said, I think it's highly exaggerated.
No, they're not looting stores. They're just breaking into the glass.
And remember, and the way
they're doing Christmas
and
shopping.
the way they spin everything. Now they say, oh, they got to do that because it's the pandemic. They blame everything on the pandemic.
It's Christmas shopping.
The pandemic's the root cause of this, the root cause of crime, the root cause of the looting, the root cause of everything. Well, as somebody who had, a modicum of logic said, it doesn't hold water, that theory. They're not looting supermarkets because they're starving to death. They're not, what are they looting? Gucci. And forgive me, I don't know the names of these high-end stores.
Versace?
Yeah, Sergio Armani and all that. I did once walk down $1 Million Mile in Chicago and saw all those stores, but I didn't go in because I think I went in one, and I saw a pocketbook that was like $12,000, and I went, who would pay $12,000 for a pocketbook? I mean, the thing would have to do my cleaning, drive the car around, go shopping for me, and I could stay home and it could just do everything for me for $12,000. But, this is the whole problem. Looting is because of COVID. It's the pandemic. Everything is the pandemic. Yet, with the vaccines, with all the new therapeutics, we've lost more people under this guy, Brandon, than we did against Trump. And they said Trump should be gone, and he didn't have a vaccine. He created one on a fast track. So we look at the reality. This guy, there's been over 300,000 deaths. But this is the key. The key is, I watched one doctor, and he made a very good point. He said, this is probably the weakest pandemic we've ever had in history, because fundamentally, only a certain segment dies.
Right.
The rest of the segment, it's like 99% chance you're not going to die. Where other pandemics killed everybody. The flu kills more people cross-sectionally than this does.
Right.
But look what they've created. They've created mass hysteria. I mean, and it's not only in the United States. Australia shut down the entire country over 2 cases. I mean, it's just nuts. And you know something, people? The bottom line is this is a giant government scam to keep your mind off the fact that they are going to rape you. They're going to take every single dime they can if you work for a living. They want you to be one of the proletariat and just depend on the government for a handout for the rest of your life.
Well, look, I mean, it's not only if you work for a living. Look at what happened to Social Security.
Yep.
Social Security got a 5.9% cost of living increase. It hasn't been that high in years, decades, okay? But what did they do when they did that? They raised the Medicare price 14.9%.
Yep.
So
yeah, but they didn't publicize that part.
No,
they publicized the increase.
Not much, though.
Yeah, but very little on that.
Right.
But they're talking about the big giant.
Yeah, 5.9%.
Oh, look at a big giant raise we gave you in Social Security. But guess what? We're
going to take
you're going to
back.
pay twice as much for your Medicare.
Right. Exactly.
But listen, if you think government works for you, you're crazy. Government only works for you when you show them that if they don't work for you, they're gone. It's that simple. As CJ said, it's our fault. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And if we don't make it of us, by us, and for us, they'll do exactly what they've all done. You got 81-year-old Nancy Pelosi up there, lifetime political ticks. And now you've got the new wave coming up, the young ones. AOC will be there when she's 80, walking around with a walker and being a multimillionaire. Politics was never intended to be a lifetime career. Our forefathers did not have political parties. They all served their country and then went back into the private sector. Politics was never, ever created to be a lifetime profession, and that's what's ruined the United States. That is now a profession. When I grow up, I want to be a politician for the rest of my life, and we have seen people who are that way.
Just look at the Congressional 9th District.
That's right.
He said, I'm only going to serve 1 term.
That was 40 years ago.
40 years ago, and he's still there. He's not talking about 1 term now, that's for sure.
That's it. It's a lifetime gig, and there's never been anybody that stayed in Congress for any length of time that didn't mysteriously become a millionaire.
Right.
Nobody.
They enter making $100,000 a year, and they leave making $200 million a year.
That's right. That's right. Just look at the investments in Nancy Pelosi. Remember one thing, Lyndon Baines Johnson, for you millennials who don't remember him, he was a president. He was a vice president. He was one of the richest men in Texas. And before he got elected to Congress, he was a school teacher, making about $8,000 a year at that time, because that was a long, long time ago. LBJ was involved in the Vietnam War and escalating the Vietnam War. But while we're on that, we only got a few seconds left. Remember, tomorrow is a day that shall live in infamy. Most of you people who don't know history will forget. It's the day they bombed Pearl Harbor, and the Arizona still is underwater with the bodies of American servicemen who died during the attack on Pearl Harbor. So just remember that tomorrow.
Yeah, take 1 minute out of your day and try to remember that. There will be ceremonies going on down at the Battleship Cove and aboard the USS Massachusetts. A lot of people have forgotten about it. Why? Because we don't teach history the way we used to teach history in this society today. We don't teach civics. We don't teach a lot of things, and people forget it. So remember, tomorrow, December 7th, a day that shall live in infamy and shall continue to do so. I want to thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure to be with you this morning. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.